Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Jayne Anne O'Flynn is a director at Driver Hire in Grimsby and also the founder of the O'Flynn Foundation. The foundation was set up in 2022 to support local people who are suffering from mental health issues or who've had a stroke. Jayne is planning to use networking as a way to raise awareness of what she's doing. Thank you very much for being my guest on the podcast, Jayne.
Thank you very much, Liz, for actually making this happen. I'm absolutely delighted to partake this morning.
Now, you're a director at Driver Hire in Grimsby and a passionate fundraiser for mental health. Let's talk about Driver Hire first. What is it and what do you do?
Well, Driver Hire has been around for a very long time, almost 30 years in Grimsby. We're the third owner of the business. And as I said, what we do is we supply drivers and back office staff to the logistic sector in northeast and northern Lincolnshire. And we've been doing that now going on for 7 years.
Wow. And do you find that it's a really busy business?
It can be. We have our peaks and troughs. We've had ups and downs, of course, with the COVID period, but I suppose fortunate that we could remain in business because we were supplying key workers.
Yes.
So unlike many businesses during that awful period, we were able to carry on, obviously with the reduced volume of business, but nonetheless, we were still there.
Yes.
Which was good.
Now, I know that Driver Hire has always had fundraising campaigns going on. So tell me about some of the causes that you've supported over the years.
Well, it goes back a long time for me, because for about 30 years now, I have been either working within the charity sector and fundraising within it as well. And it seemed a very natural thing when we bought Driver Hire that we're in a new community. We're very lucky to have this business and et cetera, and it would be lovely to give something back. So we started our first fundraise for Wish Upon a Star, continued with them for about 3 years, and also linked up with Community Linkage, Cash for Kids. And of course, the biggest fundraise was Jane Elizabeth Cady, because she was an exceptional person who had a very bad fall, and that just took away the last bit of mobility and independence because of her MS. So we actually got that woman back on her feet,
Yes.
living a life again, and probably better than she was before she had the fall, if the truth be told. So that was really one of the major ones that we actually did, and it made us think about where we were going to actually head in the future with our fundraising, because although Jane Elizabeth didn't have mental health, but her mental health had been affected, of course, by the prospect of having to spend probably a shorter life in bed where her muscles were wasting away, and she wasn't able to ever look forward to getting out of that bed. So it was kind of, we thought, well, we've got to carry on doing this because it's rewarding, it's actually helping people in our community, and we are changing lives, even if it's only one person, it does make a difference. And then we went on to COVID. And with mental health, with my association with ICAP in London, I was very aware that their doors would be knocked on continually looking for help, because people had lots of challenges then, not knowing what the future held, etc. So Michael and I decided that it would be probably the right thing to do in 2020 to raise money for mental health. So I got in touch with Alexis at Forces Therapy in Grimsby, and we had a conversation. I know she's private, but I said, look, Alexis, we have a crisis on our hands. would you actually extend your services to take on people who cannot afford to pay, and we will fundraise? And she said, absolutely, Jayne, go for it. So we did, and we raised a lot of money, which actually helped some 300 people during that period of
Wow.
COVID, which was amazing.
Yes.
So after that, Liz, it seemed the natural path to actually set up a foundation and to support mental health, and also to support those in our community who've had a stroke and cannot get access through the National Health for physiotherapy.
Yeah.
And so that really was, but also to mention that I've always wanted to run a charity. I've always wanted to do it. And it just seemed that it never was the right time going back the years. But when I think about it, everything does fall into place eventually if you're determined enough to make it happen. And I think that's what happened. We had the crisis 2020 and 21. And then it really and truly, it was very clear to me that this is what we needed to do. So we set up the foundation last May. And we helped 112 people in a short year, obviously, with the funds that was raised from our golf day at Laceby Manor in July last year. So moving forward, obviously, I have got to carry on looking for funding to do much, much more, because we would like to treble what we did last year. This year. And so at the moment, that's what I'm doing. I'm applying for funding, also running the odd event. We have our first event will be at Laceby Manor. It's a ladies' lunch to acknowledge International Women's Day on the 9th of March. And also to support the work of the O'Flynn Foundation. And of course, we'll have our golf day, 22nd of June, at Laceby Manor again.
Yes.
And there'll probably be other things as the year goes on. But I can't do this on my own, and I've always made that quite clear, that what we have done has been basically the work of so many wonderful people in our community who have been so generous in donating and sponsoring. And that's what's made it what it is, and helped us to achieve what we have achieved. So, I just pray that that carries on, and we can, look to that happening again this year and next, and so on into the future.
Yeah. So how do the people who need help find you? Are they referred to you? How does it work?
Yes, that is correct. We are a registered charity, so obviously very keen to make sure everything is done in correct order. People can be referred from the stroke centre in Grimsby, which covers Scunthorpe as well, for physiotherapy. And of course, mental health, they can come through Fortis Therapy for mental health. So we've already actually funded one person towards the end of last year from Fortis Therapy who on low income, unable to pay for private treatment. And we also did likewise for a lady from Immingham that had a stroke as well. So that's where the referrals will come. It'll all be, we cannot just accept, people walking up to me in the street and saying, look, my granny has a stroke, can you help? It has to come through the proper channels. So people can reach me through the stroke centre in Grimsby. We also work with Links Inspire, and I'm very inspired by what they do, to be quite frank. I think they do amazing work there, and we're also helping them with their programs, because people that go there for lots of things really, and help and community and getting together with people that they wouldn't see probably if they weren't part of this organisation, and they can get treated, because a lot of them have got various different conditions. So it'll be degenerative in some cases, some will have had a stroke. But there is lots and lots of things happening there that actually can help them, to get back their mobility and independence. And we are helping them. Actually, we're funding some of the projects that they do. Particularly what we're interested in doing with Links Inspire is they get the first 12 weeks on the National Health. And then some of those people coming off that programme, it'll be clear to the staff there that they could do with another 12 weeks. But no, where's the money coming from? You see, they haven't got it themselves, and Links Inspire can't get any more money through the National Health. So they'll come to the O'Flynn Foundation, and we will help them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So what area are you actually covering geographically, Jayne?
Northern Lincolnshire.
So that's north and northeast together,
yes,
is it?
Absolutely. Yes, we can. In fact, actually, I go as far as just revealing that the foundation was set up to actually help people throughout the UK. But with the pot of money we have, that would be ridiculous too, because we're not going to be able to do that. So we are concentrating, because all the money that comes in is coming in from people who live and work here.
Yes.
And it just seems the right thing to be doing is to help people in our community. So that's what we are concentrating fully on, basically. Also, we could help with education in offering bursaries or scholarships, but again, the time isn't right for that. The money isn't there. But what we would like to do, and hopefully will be able to do at some point, is to actually approve a scholarship or a bursary to a young, bright student from a disadvantaged background, to give them the opportunity to springboard, forward into actually achieving good results and getting a good career path ahead for them.
Lovely. Now, what sort of ideas do you have for raising money? You've mentioned a couple of things like your golf day there. What other ideas have you got in the pipeline?
Well, events, of course, has got to be one of the key things that I can organise and deliver. But also grants, obtaining grants successfully. Putting out applications to various organisations and hoping that, I'm not expecting everybody to say yes, of course, but I'm realistic enough to understand that, but also to say that if you throw enough balls up in the air, you're bound to catch some on the way down. So, I have a hugely, hugely positive attitude towards it and feeling. And, I'm so passionate about wanting to do this. And as somebody said to me recently, towards the end of last year, he said to me, Jayne, your energy, he said, and your passion, he said, is burning. And it is, because I want to do this. I really do. And I think when I think back to Jane Elizabeth Cady, always because of the success of what private physiotherapy just turned her life around.
Yeah.
And I want to do similar things for so many other people who are in similar positions to what she was in, with no prospect of ever leaving that bed and just wasting away. And then you see her now. She's been able to go to her son's wedding last August, get out, and, she has independence.
Yeah.
She'll never do the marathon because of the MS, but she never expected that.
Yeah.
It's just to be able to leave that house and to do that. And, it's possible,
Yeah.
And I remember, I'll never forget the evening I went to see her in December 2018. And I came out of that house and I cried. I actually sat in my car and cried. And I came home here and I said to Michael, we have got to. He said, how are we going to do it? I said, I don't know, but we're going to do it. And, I said, I have no idea at this moment in time how we're going to raise money for her and get her out of that bed. But, we did.
Yes, you did.
And that is the important thing. And that's really and truly, the flow of the passion within me to want to do that for more and more people. And I know, every day, practically every day, I get a letter or maybe more in the post here at home, or I get it to my email, because people just go to probably the Charity Commission website and they see the O'Flynn Foundation and they just, send off an application. I can't help all of those people. But what I want to be able to do is to give a positive response to people here in North East Lincolnshire and North Lincolnshire.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be able to do from the foundation. And hopefully this year we will be able to help over 300 people.
That would be
instead of, I think
yeah.
last year we did very well because basically we didn't really start until after the golf day in July because we had no money. So really, we only started really looking at helping people from August of last year, and the need is there. That there's huge need out there for both of those. Sections that we help, like mental health. There's just so many challenges out there for people today.
Yeah.
It's always been the same, but I think, there's always been challenges, of course, and there always will be. But if you can pick some of those up and turn people's life around and give them something to look forward to and to live for,
Yes.
and have a life. And sadly, I say this, is that I have personal experience with what happens within a family where a member of that family has severe mental health challenges. And it isn't just the one person, that person who has those challenges.
Yeah.
It affects the entire family. I'll go as far as saying, because this did happen, that the children very often never recover because they go through so much drama
Yeah.
and sadness and just absolutely things happen that unimaginable things happen.
Yeah.
And it affects them for the rest of their life. So they don't find a happy path moving forward in their lives. So for me, it's so important to be able to pick those people up and be able to do something about their state of health,
Yeah.
and to give them back that independence and immobility in the case of the strokes and that. But it's just to give people to put their lives back on track, and that they wake up in the morning and say it's great to be alive, and looking forward to the day ahead and a future. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're incredibly busy, Jayne. So what kind of proportion of your time are you now spending on the foundation as opposed to driver hire?
I still work very hard for driver hire, of course. But I just fit it in, Liz, because the thing is that because I'm so passionate about both sides of my life, really, to be honest with you. But, I just feel I don't mind if I work until late in the evening, sending out applications and things like that. Or, as I said, I suppose, really and truly, probably give 2 whole days a week or maybe more to the foundation. And I can see that in future, do you know what I mean, going up. Because, if I retire from driver hire at some point in the future, well, I have this, to carry me on, if you know what I mean. But and I love what we do with driver hire. But as I said, both is important. And of course, driver hire has been very generous to the foundation in setting up, like, my setup costs and that. So, and also to emphasize that every single pound that comes into that bank account goes out to help. Because when I run an event, for example, I actually get it sponsored.
Yeah.
So that the cost of the event, the golf days have always been sponsored.
Yeah.
So I get sponsorship for golf holes. That covers the cost of the day. And then after that, and any shortfall, Michael and I would or driver hire would pick up the cost of that. So every penny that comes in for the ticket price, so to speak, or the entrance fee, whatever you like to call it, will go to the actual causes that we are supporting.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So let's have a bit of a chat now about networking. So how do you use networking for your business and also now for the foundation as well?
I must admit, I have not been doing an awful lot of networking of late, and there is a good reason for that, because driver hire is quite a niche business in a way, and of what we do. And we used to go, as the old saying is, Michael and I would go to the opening of an envelope when we moved up here first. And then we soon realised, basically, that really and truly, yes, we were making contacts and meeting some very, very nice people. But, from bringing business into driver hire, that wasn't happening. It's the truth of the matter. But I think now that we are more inclined to go out and meet people, not doing things on Zoom and that, and with the Business Hive and that, I will start going to things at the Business Hive and other things, because the foundation, really and truly, I'm promoting something different.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And the people that I would meet at the Business Hive and such like, could possibly be people who would like to make a donation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's what I will use the networking side actually moving forward.
Yes. I mean, you must have built up quite a network now. You've been here a number of years, and as you say, you used to go to very many events. So you must have a big network now that you can start to tell about the foundation.
Yes, and of course that we which you've attended some of them, the Ladies Connected group, which took over from Workwise Women, and yes, and that's another opportunity basically to actually promote the work of the foundation as well.
Yes. So if people want to get involved, they'd like to donate or organise an event for you, what's the best way for them to contact you, Jayne?
Well, that's quite easily organised. They can send an email to Jayne, that's Jayne, at O'Flynn Foundation, no apostrophe, OFLYNN, foundation.org.
Lovely. And can they connect with you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn?
Yes, well, I'm in the process of setting up a Facebook and LinkedIn page. Now, that'll happen. We're away. That'll happen in the next few weeks, so it'll be up and running. It's half set up, but it's not set up to be able to post something out in it. So that will be something that will happen probably beginning of February.
And presumably the name of those pages will be the O'Flynn Foundation.
Yes, it's O'Flynn Foundation, that's right. Yes, so I'll have one for the O'Flynn Foundation on LinkedIn and on Facebook.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for being my guest, Jayne, and telling me all about the foundation, and the best of luck with it.
Thank you so much, Liz. Thank you very much indeed. I've so enjoyed this morning. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.